What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Creatine, and before we get into today's story time, I would just like to give another thank you guys for running up my video, getting ahead in the movie theater. It was a really fun one to make, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'll leave it like carded in the top right corner at some point in the video if I can figure out how to fucking do that. But anyway, let's get into today's story time. So this is another story from back in 2022, and I know what you guys are probably thinking. I know I have a lot of stories from 2022 that I've been telling lately, but just bear with me. They're all pretty good, I'm not gonna lie to you. But anyway, I had just woken up on this day. It was a pretty normal day. I had to go to school, so I had just gotten ready and walked over to school. I was at my dad's house at the time, and at my dad's house when I lived there and had school, this fucking schedule I had to follow to a T was terrible. Like, I had to wake up at like 6:50 a.m., text my dad and mom that I was awake because my dad was working and I wouldn't be at my mom's house, and it was just so ass. But I did that, and then I proceeded to walk over to school, and my dad's house wasn't very far away from the school. It was like a 5-minute walk, and I had gotten there. I had to text him that I was there because if I didn't, he dead ass would think I just wasn't at school, like skipping or some shit, like I'd fallen back asleep. But I'd gotten to school, texted him. I went into my first class of the day. It was still like the pre-period setting, like before school had started, because I had still gotten there like 10, 20 minutes early. And my first class of the day was plant biology, and I know what you guys are thinking. Plant biology is probably an ass class to take, but thankfully, if you guys have like heard some of my previous stories, I've talked about the fact that I take culinary, and this was my first year of culinary, and in my first year, I got to be in the morning class, and how the morning class was set up, I was essentially leaving plant biology 25 minutes into like the 45-50 minute class period, so I was just missing most of that like boring ass class and still passing, and I still got an excuse for leaving. So it was pretty W getting out of that boring class. And then the rest of the classes I had the rest of the day were all just pretty fast, pretty easy to do. I had a lot of people to talk to in the rest of my classes, so it always went by pretty quickly throughout the school day. And then essentially school had ended, and I went down to the football locker room for practice because I still played football at the time. And our football practices weren't like immediately after school ended. We had like a good 45 minutes to an hour of downtime before we actually had to like be out on the field with our equipment. And basically that downtime we could do anything from go get food from somewhere, like go get equipment if we forgot it, or we could just like go home or chill down in the locker room. And I essentially was just chilling down in the locker room with my little like group of friends I had during football season. And let me tell you, this group of people that I was hanging around, we were the most fucking like menaces on the football team. Like, we were showing each other out of pocket videos, just saying the most out of pocket shit, doing the most out of pocket shit. Like, it was bad. I could like have a whole series of just tales from my football locker room, and it would be atrocious as fuck. But anyway, I was just down in the locker room with a bunch of my friends, and it was getting close to the time where we would do like check in, which is where they would say all of our names one by one, and we would tell them if we were here or not. And this one dude, who we'll just call Alan, he comes stumbling down for check-in, and Alan was looking like a little red in the face. And I'll say this now, Alan is like a ginger, but like he was looking more red in the face than he normally would. And immediately this wasn't like a big concern for me because, like I said, he was ginger. Like, him being red in the face was a pretty normal occurrence, so I kind of just brushed it off. And then we all proceeded to go get ready for practice and go up to the field. And once we got up to the field, Alan started acting like a little bit different, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we had like a nice 15 minutes after check-in before practice started, and in that 15 minutes, Alan was just like goofing off and dicking off, which, once again, not like a unusual occurrence. Like, Alan was always dicking off during practice. Like, he's that kind of dude. And like, the only issue was you could tell he was like off of something. Like, he had to be, like, he was doing too much more than he was normally doing. And we eventually have to like actually start practice, and every practice we would start off with just a lap, and nothing unusual happened during this lap. It was a nice simple lap. We all would dick off a tad bit, like shove each other around a little bit. Nothing really significant happened during this, and then we eventually just lined up for like our stretching drills. And the way we'd like do our stretches, we would have like the captains line up in front, and then we would have just players file in all like 5 yards behind each other behind the captain, and then the captains would all just lead the stretch. And guess who conveniently was placed right in front of me in the stretching line? Fucking Alan. And eventually we start off these stretches, and the captains, the seniors are leading it how they're supposed to, and Alan's just not doing it like at all. Like, he's making it look like he's doing it. Like, I don't know if he was too fucked up to even do it or not, but it didn't even look like he was attempting to try. And we eventually, like, we just keep getting through these stretches, and we like went from stationary like standing stretches to stationary sitting stretches. And once we got down on the ground, I'm like looking in front of me, and Alan like starts throwing up a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, in this moment I was sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe he's not on something, maybe he's just like sick, I don't know. And at this point, I'm not the only one who had like noticed he had puked. Like, one other person in front of him had noticed that he had thrown up, and the senior who was leading our line, he had noticed. And eventually, like, every thought in my mind that he was sick immediately left, because I saw him like proceed to start fucking rolling around in it. And fucking somehow the coaches, they did not like notice this at all during the fucking stretches. I don't know if they like maybe caught a glance of it at all and like maybe wanted to let it go and see like how it played out, or like maybe he wasn't actually high or not, or maybe he was sick, who knows. But like, the coaches did not say anything up to this point at all. And eventually we proceed to get done with our stretches, because stretches normally would only last like 5 to 10 minutes. Like, they shouldn't or didn't take very long. And the next thing we all went to go do was a drill that we called the 5-man. And this is not the 5-man you guys are all probably thinking of. This is like a giant weighted sled with 5 bags on it that we would all have to like push and roll off of, or push and drive down a field. And the specific drill we were doing at this time was the push and roll drill. And the push and roll drill was, you hit the bag, you roll to the next one, you hit it, and you just keep rolling down the line until you're done. And essentially the coaches would just have us do this a nice couple times, like get us warmed up a little bit. And the push and roll drill isn't a very hard drill or anything to do, and Alan went up to go fucking do it, and bro's actually like struggling. Like, he hit it, and then he slowly rolled over, and he's looking like a sloth going through this drill. And this is eventually when the coach is like start to take notice, because he's just like rolling through the drill, barely hitting it, like giggling his fucking ass off at the surroundings around him. And eventually the coaches just tell him like, Alan, if you're not going to take it seriously, we're just going to pull you aside for a few minutes. And that's what they ended up doing. But I guess something that they had like spoken to Alan about, or I don't know if they had a hunch or anything, got them to get the athletic trainer to come down. And when the athletic trainer came down, they essentially, from what I caught out of the corner of my eye, performed like a field sobriety test on fucking Alan. And I guess due to how badly Alan did on the field sobriety test, the trainer made him take a fucking like drug test down in the locker room, I think. And I don't really know how Alan managed to pull this off, but this motherfucker managed to like cheat his drug test and somehow like pass. But the coaches had already basically known that he was high. They could very easily tell, and they decided to I think kick him off the team. Either that or he just quit after. I'm not too sure. It was like really late into the season anyway, so it's not like it really mattered that much towards the end. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this story time. And yeah, if you guys want to hear more stories about like football and shit like that, and just some of the crazy antics I got into when I played the past couple of years, let me know down in the comments below. I got a lot of like really funny and crazy shit that happened. But yeah, if you like today's story time, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what kind of stories you guys want to see in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.